please use the Zoom dashboard to submit your questions. We're going to answer them as we can, but at the end, Katie Borowski will go through all of them. And if we don't get to them, we will be sending an FAQ out after the webinar with the recording. As always, feel free to reach out to your RD with any extra questions or concerns. So today we're going to follow kind of a standard quick national update that Diana will give you. I'll talk more about the program, the Summer Workplace Experience Program, describe what national is versus local versus stipend. We'll review some of the tools that we've prepared to assist host firms and you. And then I'll go through some of the reporting procedures that we are implementing this year. So with that, Diana, you can go ahead and do the update.
So we do know that recently you have gotten a number of emails from the national staff. And as you can see by this page, you now understand why. We just have a lot of things going on. What is not on this page that you did see an email yesterday is that we did have a slight change or addition to our national staff. Katie Borowski has become the National Director for Student and Alumni Advancement. As you saw in the email, with our commitment to throughput and our need to follow up with our alumni and making sure that we follow them through their path to get them into the workforce, the executive committee felt that having someone focused on our alumni advancement was very important. So we're very thrilled to announce Katie joining us as the National Director of Student and Alumni Advancement. As you can imagine, she will be leaving the Regional Director of the Northeast, and we will be posting that job effective tomorrow. So if you know anyone who's interested in joining the ACE National staff as a Regional Director of the Northeast, just let Katie or Diana know. One of the emails that you got was the email for you to take a pledge to be a change agent. This came out of the new DEI committee and wanting to have all aspects of the program, all people of the program, really be committed to being a change agent. If you did not get any of these emails, just let us know and we will get it. But we are asking you to say that you're taking the pledge, add the pledge to your social media, affiliate leaders. We're asking you to please send it to your board members and your mentors as well, to ask them to take the pledge. In addition, we're asking you to think about one or two things, steps that your affiliate would take to be an agent of change. We also sent out an email, I believe that was yesterday, about the trades grant that we received. We still can't tell you where the money has come from, but we did receive a check for $100,000 that is to be used for Trades Day and trades programming. We do have a webinar coming up next week on February 16th, and anybody who has a Trades Day or is interested in learning about a Trades Day, please join us on the 16th. One of the things that we've heard over and over again from both mentors and affiliate leaders is that our mentors are wonderful professionals in our industry, but are not necessarily trained to be mentors or teachers, and mentors want more training. We're thrilled to have Mary Bradford, the affiliate director of our Washington, D.C. affiliate, on as a national consultant for training. And you'll see on the screen, we have two topics scheduled, one in February, one in March. Building resilience in youth is February, and managing expectations in mentoring is in March. In addition, Mary is helping us really add to the mentoring tools with lots of different pieces of information and help for our mentors. Lots of national programs will come. The due date is either in February or March, but hopefully you are all submitting a CMIC scholarship application. That is due February 18th. If you haven't already gotten your students started, please do so quickly. But we do look forward. I believe we have well over 32 applications in already, and we can't wait to read them. The committee is all set and ready to go. Outstanding mentor, that nomination is due on March 14th, and the brand new school champion. We're hoping all of you are considering to nominate your school champion. We all know the importance of the school champion in helping us recruit our students. CERT competition is due March 16th. We have every expectation that the winning teams will be invited into DC. We're making all the arrangements, but make sure that your teams get their submission in by the 16th of March. And then lastly, we're very excited to announce alumni scholarships. We have heard from our alumni that very often they head into their post-secondary education with a certain dollar amount committed for financial aid and scholarships, and it covers their tuition. As the years go on, the tuition goes up, and not always does their financial aid or their scholarships. And we do have students that have reached out to us to say that they are in need of some financial assistance in their junior and senior year. The National Academy of Construction has given us $25,000 that we will be offering as alumni scholarships. I believe you all got an announcement on that. Just so that you know, an email will go out to all alumni in the database announcing these scholarships. It's so important that we make sure all of our alumni are in the database. In order to be eligible for the alumni scholarships, they do need to be actively registered in our database. So you can see we've been extremely busy. If any of you have any questions on any of these topics, please reach out to your regional director or to me, Diana.
So the reason for this webinar is to further explain the summer workplace experience that we also quickly jumped into last year and have really revitalized that program for this summer. Our national strategic plan, as Diana said, has such a strong focus on throughput. We know we want to get our students into our high school program and have them complete our high school program, but we also need to stay with them through college and into the workforce. Internships and job shadowing are just exceptional tools to engage the students so they can decide that they want to commit to a career path in construction, and that might even change the direction of that career path, but would stay in our building industry. So last summer, as you all know, we kicked off the summer experience program. I'm going to give you just a couple statistics on the next slide about how that worked. Thank you all very much for helping us with this. We know it was kind of drinking from the fire hose there late spring, but we did have 276 high school students placed in a workplace experience. So we were very proud of that. 116 of those came from national sponsors, 33 were the stipends, and 78 were local firms. We also provided other experiences like camps and college experiences. So the stipend number 33, we had quite a bit more, but I think because it was such a new program, we didn't maybe get the word out in enough time for that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we can up that number this year. Next slide, please. So keeping in line with our mission and everything we do, we always want to look at the diversity and the demographics of all program attendees. So I did want to share with you what our summer experience looked like last year. And we were quite proud of the diversity, and we want to continue to focus on it. So there's 3 different ways that you can do these internship summer workplace experiences. The national sponsor firms is one, and that is national sponsors that have committed to a specific number of positions for ACE students around the country. In the case of Turner and Gilbane, those students will be paid by ACE. All others are paid by that national sponsor firm. So once we get the names, and this is the spreadsheet I'll talk about a little bit later, we will email the students for Turner and Gilbane the information they'll need in order to get paid. Now, the stipend is just a wonderful incentive for any local firms that you have. that might want to provide an experience, but are hindered by the expense of it. So we will offer to pay those students through National $20 an hour for about an 80-hour experience. Now, these experiences can be done in a couple different ways. We learned some wonderful things last year. Very traditional, student stays with one firm for that 80 hours. The timing of that is entirely up to the firm and the student. If they want to do a morning shift and then they have something else in the afternoon, great. If they want to do all day, that's fine too. That's entirely up to the firm. We did have some team experiences where teams of students rotated to different firms. And then we also had some students spend time with multiple firms. Number 2 and 3 there really, I think, lessened the burden a bit for the host firm. So please keep those in mind. We really, at the national level, aren't as concerned about exactly how the program looks for the student and the host firm. We just want to make sure we get students into some professional workplace experience. And then finally, this is one that most of you have already been doing. You have local firms that are willing to pay, and you can help set those students up. So we ask you to continue that. But we do ask that, the expectation is that those firms would pay the students $15 to $20 an hour for about an 80-hour experience. So one of the things that is so important is that we report back and really have an idea of what impact we're making. All summer workplace experiences are going to be tracked on an individual spreadsheet. Those of you who have national sponsor opportunities have already received that spreadsheet. And the ones that didn't have national sponsor opportunities will receive a spreadsheet where you can track stipend and local. It's important that you know that this spreadsheet is in our external share drive. And we'd like you to work on it in that drive so that as people come to me and say, hey, we've got 3 more internships that we can offer to the Austin area, I'll plug them right in there and it'll just be a real-time working spreadsheet between you and me. Next slide, please. This is an example of Boston's, and you can see there the host companies identified. The local host company contact has also been pre-identified so that when you reach out to them or they reach out to you, it won't be a surprise to either party. And then you see here to please enter stipend and local. Now on the spreadsheets, I just kind of put 3 of 3. You're not limited to that at all. You can do as many local ones tracked on this sheet as you can get your hands on. For the stipend one, we did ask that you let your regional director or myself know about how many stipends you think you could use. We don't want to limit it because, as you saw earlier, we didn't get through all the stipends last year. So please let us know what you're thinking. And once we get all that information from the affiliates, I'll reanalyze it and most likely come back and say, Jan, you can have 6 in Omaha. So please just keep that in mind in the next week. If you can you don't have to identify the student, just identify, hey, I think we could probably use 2, 3, 5 of these stipends would be great. So Diana's going to talk a little bit more about kind of the back end and the paperwork that the firms and the students will do.
So basically, if a local firm is going to host an intern, they really don't need to do anything other than host and take care of their own paperwork. For the national organizations that are sponsoring, again, they don't need to do anything. They're going to handle the students directly with their own internal processing. For Turner and Gilbane, ACE will be paying the students, but we will handle the firm agreement. The firm agreement is for any firm that is willing to host one of our students through the stipend program. So in all the other cases, the intern or the job shadow or externship, whatever they call it, is under their control. So they don't need to sign anything with ACE. If they are participating in the stipend program, technically ACE is holding the responsibility for that student. So what this agreement says is that they agree to host a student and follow all the rules that are in this agreement to keep our students safe. For the host agreements, it's really important that we get these host agreements before any student is committed to participating with that firm. I do know last year some firms came back asking if they could change some of the wording. Our preference is to not change the wording, but if someone does push back, just get back to me and we will work with that. For the students, again, if for local or national sponsors, the students will work directly with the hosting firm. They will have to fill out a W-9 and other paperwork for that firm. For the Turner and Gilbane students, once we have their names, they will be given the same paperwork as the stipend program. So you saw in the tracking, what we need is we need the student's name and the student's email. At that time, once we get it, we will then send them access to these 3 forms through DocuSign. We used DocuSign last year and it worked very well. The students will need to complete a W-9. They will need to complete an emergency contact form, and they will also have to complete an agreement that basically says they will follow the rules that we need them to follow in order to participate with this program. We will send the emergency contact form to the host firm so that they know in a case of an emergency who they need to contact for the student. All paperwork will be kept by National. For payment, no student will be paid without all paperwork being completed. In fact, no student should really start an internship or an experience without their paperwork completely completed. But in order for the student to get paid, we do need someone to let us know when their first week of their experience is completed. They will get paid half after their first week. And this year, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of sending hard copy checks, which can get lost in the mail or doesn't get cashed by the student, we're going to be doing wire transfers, almost like a direct deposit. So after their first week, they will get an email where they will need to fill out their banking information so that we can deposit their first check. They will get their second check or the other half after they have completed their program and they have completed the post-secondary survey that is required. We did get asked a question in yesterday's that what if they don't have a bank account? If they don't have a bank account, we would like to talk to them about the importance of having a bank account, but the option of getting a check will still be available.
So we have put together some tools that we hope will help you and the host firms. The 2 that you see now will be editable and in your external drive file with your spreadsheet. So one would be for you to distribute to local firms that might be interested either in the stipend program or just their own program. And then the other one is to hand out to your students, let them know that these opportunities exist and to get a hold of you to find out more. Again, they will be editable so you can add your own information in there and they will be in your external drive file. Last year, we provided a host handbook, playbook. It's called a couple different things. And we will do that again this year. Again, this will be in your share drive file. We are looking to add to this. So please know that that might be edited, and I'll send an email out to everybody if we do. But it's full of ideas, suggestions. None of it is required. It's simply maybe help some of those folks that haven't had high schoolers in their offices before. There's lots of daily schedule type things. And in addition, we have a lot of virtual things that host firms could utilize. We have virtual field trips that are on the tools. We have self-directed student activities that are also on the tools. So please make sure and share this with anyone that you're talking to. I think it just kind of eases the burden a little bit. So if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions on what could be added, please reach out and let me know and I will take care of that. Please start putting your questions in the chat box and we'll answer as many as we can here Jan, I did see yours about starting the stipend in June. That's just fine. You can use that. You can start those programs whenever it works for your local firms. And I'm sorry, Katie, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you because I haven't been tracking them as they come in.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for answering Jan's first question. We had another question come in about the ACE training, building resilience in the youth. We did have the incorrect date on there. Those are going to be February 23rd and 24th. You should have received an email with the Zoom link registration, but if you are missing that information, just send a note to your RD and we'll make sure you get that link. The next question, has there been any thought about having an application for the students to complete where they can list any skills like CAD and interests?
That's a great idea. We have a pre-survey that asks them that kind of question, but that's really after the affiliate has identified a student and matched them with someone. Let me take a stab at that and see if it's something we could distribute to the affiliates. So when you hand out that flyer, there could be something that the students could indicate their interest. That's a great idea.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica. And next question, how are other affiliates having students apply to these different experiences?
There's anyone from staff wants to jump in. There isn't a formal process that I know of. It's really just been kind of organically identifying students that work well with a particular discipline. I know in Chicago, and Chris-Ann, I don't mean to put you on the spot, in Chicago, they have had a very robust internship program for years now. And there's a lot of mentor-student matching that goes on during the sessions prior to the summer experiences. So I know that that's one way that they identify. And other than that, it's really just been kind of on the affiliate to talk with their mentors, make sure their mentors know these opportunities are available, and then they start to kind of identify students that would match.
Yeah, I can add to that, Monica. I saw affiliates last year really lean on the mentors, the team leaders and the mentors who have that relationship with the students. I know it's a little bit different for those teams that are meeting virtually right now, but they will have a better idea, what students are interested in and who might have, an opening in the summer. I also saw a couple of really neat ideas where you kind of integrate it in with your scholarship application process. So make it available like another opportunity. I know some affiliates do this with the camp application. So having it, as another opportunity that students can apply for, similar to the scholarship process. All right, next question. Lauren wants to know if we can see the post survey that students will need to complete before it goes out.
Yes, absolutely. I'll put those, the pre and the post in your external file. And if you have suggestions for something that you'd like to have added, please just reach out. Katie, I think Chris-Ann had put a couple things in about their process. Did that come through to you?
Yes. Chris-Ann says that's right. Teams often select their own mentors, and all mentors make recommendations for students with their applications. We do a meeting with all recommending mentors to actually talk through who they think is ready for an internship and why. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Chris-Ann. And Chris-Ann, I know we're putting you on the spot, but if you want to unmute yourself and explain that a little bit more, you're welcome to.
Oh, that's sure. It's pretty straightforward. Like a lot of teams will select their own intern, and we ask them explicitly to consider seniors first in their internship selections, and to consider the fact that we are trying to find students that are underrepresented in the building industry as prime considerations. So many firms just will go ahead and select their own intern and go and make that offer to the student and talk to the student directly about their availability, and then they just let us know. For any student who's going to like a placement where they're not, in the team, to either a company that's outside of our host teams, or they're just, they're up for grabs and another a firm can hire them. We have a mentor recommendation process that we align with the student scholarship applications. So we have a separate form where we are viewing the student's scholarship app and then what the mentors say about them. And then we go through all of those and we do a meeting with all of the recommending interns and mentors, and we go student by student and talk about you recommended the student. Why do you think they're ready for an internship? What are their interests? What qualities do they have? So we try to talk through, and then we ask them to sort of rank who they want to have top preference in consideration, knowing there's a limited number of spots. But we do lean, that to say, we do lean really heavily on the mentors and take their word for who they think is ready for the workplace.
I think we have all the questions answered in the chat. I'll put a final call out for questions. You know, if anything comes up afterwards that you wish to ask, just reach out to Monica or your RD directly. As Monica mentioned, we'll be compiling a Q&A report along with a copy of the recording of the presentation and all of the documents that Monica and Diana talked about, and we'll be sending that out to everybody after this presentation. So last call for any questions.
I'm gonna answer that message that Jan just sent through. So the other day, again, if you have national sponsor opportunities in your area, I did send an email out, and it referenced, you know, the February 15th, let us know how many stipends. But in there is a link to your file. And as I looked at it later, because someone else called me last night and said they had missed it, that link, it's a link in there. So I think it's in the first paragraph or so. But if you click on that little Excel link with the name of your affiliate, it'll take you right to that drive. And I know Twin Cities has been in there, so I understand the links are working just fine, but I think that might have gotten lost in a wordy email. All right, I think I can leave this open for a minute, but I think it seems like there aren't any more questions. Like I said, we'll send you the recording, the documents will be in your file. I'll do follow-up emails with everybody here shortly. And thank you so much for all the work you did last year. The fact that we were able to get almost 300 high school students placed just still blows my mind. So, and that's because you all did so much help and work on that. And let's double it this year. Thank you, guys.